Hi, I'm JH, and in this video I'll be discussing about the 2022 Azerbaijan Grand Prix, the 8th round of the 2022 F1 season. Please note that everything I said is based on facts and of course my own opinion. So, without further ado, let's start the video. First of all, let's see some of the news that's been going on before the race. Well, Checo got a contract extension with Red Bull, which makes me wonder what's next for Gasly. I mean, AlphaTauri is a decent team, but I imagine he'll want to be in a more competitive car. Maybe if Hamilton retires, Mercedes, I guess? Oh, and Mercedes also have some major porpoising problem with their cars. And the other teams as well. Anyway, let's get into their performances. A perfect result for the Red Bulls as they managed to get the 1-2 and the fastest lap. In the early stages, Max was battling with Charles for second and got pretty close as well, but after Charles retired with a power unit issue, it's pretty much smooth sailing for the Dutch. The no fighting with Sergio Message from the team also helps. Not really a surprise considering what happened last time when two Red Bulls are fighting in that part of the track. Well, Max is also faster than Sergio at the time, so it's quite fair I think. He ended up getting P1 and leading quite comfortably in the driver standings. Speaking of Sergio, he had a great start overtaking Charles in the first turn of lap 1. But as the race goes on, he seems to be struggling later on with the end gap of around 20 seconds between him and Verstappen. Regardless, he still managed to finish P2 and got the fastest lap as well. Excellent result for the Red Bulls. Considering their straight line speed and the back-braking porpoising problem, I'd say Mercedes got an excellent result. Russell had a great race, no major errors and finishing P3, extending his excellent point scoring streak, once again above Lewis. Lewis also did quite well, had a great race despite the porpoising problem with some overtakings and good pace. He ended up finishing P4, which is a great result for the Mercedes team. They got a great result, but it could be better. Gasly had an excellent race after a fantastic quali session, finishing P5, which is a great bounce back race for the French driver. Tsunoda also had a great quali and race, but well, luck isn't really on his side this time, when only half of his rear wing opened in the latter stage of the race. He was forced to pit, making him drop out of the points position, and the inability to use DRS also didn't help him. Very unlucky for Tsunoda. Anyway, it's still a decent points haul for the Italian team, so good job I guess. Once again, the 4-time world champion had an excellent quali and race, finishing P6, although I think he could finish higher if he didn't go off track on the early laps. Anyway, it's still a great result for him. As for Stroll, well, he pretty much had a terrible weekend. Had multiple crashes on quali, preceded by subpar performance on a race, and retired in lap 48 due to technical issues. Well, overall, it's still a great points finish for the team, so yay. After the questionable strategy on Albon in quali, Alonso had a fairly okay race, finishing P7 with no fatal mistakes. Ocon seems to be defending for the majority of the race and struggled in the hard tire, but he still managed to get a point from this race. I think it's still a decent result for the French team. Ricciardo finally got his second finishing position this season. He had a decent race, and this time the team strategy also leaned more to his side. Despite struggling on the mediums in the later stage, he still managed to finish P8. As for Lando, well, he did drop back a few places, but managed to bounce back nicely. And well, he seems to be upset with the team orders, and I think he also attempted to overtake Ricciardo on the last lap, but in the end, he still finished behind Daniel. Anyway, he still finished P9, so not that bad I guess. Valtteri had an unusually bad quali this time, starting behind his teammate on race day. He didn't really perform that well in the race and only managed to finish P11 after retirements from the point scoring drivers. Zhou on the other hand had a solid race. He even managed to get to P10 at one point, but once again, some technical issues forced him to retire on lap 23. Tough weekend for the Alfa Romeo team. Albon had a pretty decent race considering his situation, finishing P12 with no major errors. As for Latifi, well, he received 10 seconds stop and go because his mechanic was still on the grid to push his car after the time limit. And he also got 5 seconds after ignoring blue flags. So yeah, another tough weekend for the Williams. Where the hell did their early season pace gone to? Magnussen had a few overtakes but was forced to retire in lap 31 due to power unit issue. Mick didn't really manage to do anything special after being outperformed by his teammate for most of the weekend. Very tough result for the American team. Jesus Christ almighty. How? You got pole in one car and P4 on the other in quali. How do you manage to ruin it? Charles got the pole, and despite the lockup in turn 1 that cost him his position, he seems to be catching up rapidly to the Red Bulls later on, until his power unit failed in lap 21 and retired from the race. Again, it's not his fault. Sainz didn't really have the same pace as the top 3, but it didn't really matter because, well, he retired in lap 9 due to hydraulics problem. Overall, it's a terrible result for the Ferraris. Not to mention they maybe had to take a penalty because Leclerc's power unit must be replaced. Oh, and none of the Ferrari power team managed to finish in the points on this race. My best driver in this race is Lewis because he managed to perform even with the crazy porpoising on his car. Here are the standings after the 8th round. Anyway, yeah, that's it for this video. Thank you for watching. If you like it, please share, like and subscribe. See you in the next video, and yeah, have a nice day.